Hello, I'm Jamie Goode, and I'm in Chile heading south, looking to discover what's often referred to as dry-grown Chile, the regions of Maule and Itata, home to some of the country's oldest vineyards, making uniquely Chilean wines from interesting terroirs. Our first stop is in Maule at Bouchon Family Wines. So this is Pais, yeah?
Yeah, Pais.
Just one variety or lots?
We're at different varieties. We're checking out DNA, but it will be mainly Pais. About the history of Chile, here you got everything. When the Spanish arrived, also this state was like this. Mainly Pais with a little bit of Carignan. 500 years ago, you need to think about this. But this is the viticulture of Chile for 300 years. This was the landscape, to move the soil, use horse, kind of in an organic way, bush van train. To give the sign of the place, because we used to make kind of the Bordeaux as Bordeaux. You know, in terms of temperature and soil, that's nothing to do. Even in Maipo, a long time for us to make a Cabernet Sauvignon for Chile, but it should be Maipo style. But here you have granitic soil, and in general, a few places you have dry farming. Now we're making Bordeaux varieties. In our signature, there will be granitic soil, different kind of granite soil we're going to taste today. And that is the sign of the Bordeaux varieties from here. And beside that, we got this heritage that we are lucky to have, and also the connection with the region. I don't know, 7 years ago, we didn't buy fruit in the region. We didn't make any Pais or Sanso or Semillon itself in the label. And now that change start with this, start to learn to make the viticulture again. This was abandoned for many years. And also to buy fruit in a different place in Maule. Now we got more than 10 producers, Pais and Sanso. And the other line that we are thinking in the future is when we start to see, we are taking a little bit off of Cabernet Sauvignon because of diseases mainly, and also in dry farming condition with heat, with the temperatures that we got now, the Cabernet suffers a lot. So we're taking off, and our new plantings, okay, we start to think which variety we start to make. So we put Pais, we put Carignan, we put Grenache, and we put Monastrell. And also we're making clonal selection, we use graft or no graft. So in general, we're making our own vines, you know, for Carignan. In general, in Chile, you say, okay, we put Cabernet Sauvignon, you buy a clone, you know, from Bordeaux or anything. For Carignan, we make our own plants for the people for the Vigno, for the Vigno state. Mm-hmm. We take the canes and we make the same vines. And 1 year we leave it in the grass, in the soil, and then we put it in the plot. So
start knowing them and working with them when they are really babies. So 5 years old, first production, 10 years, 20 years, then we will know better the variety. And for the other reason is, you put the picture yesterday, is for the future, for next generations. Now this 100+ years old is okay, but maybe in another 100 years they don't survive. So we need to plant now, thinking in next generations to have the old vines, because otherwise next generations will only have like the new system, and the old system is going to be lost.
Maule is kind of the cradle of viticulture. With Itata, we have to remember that Maule and Itata are modern words that designate political zones. And there are wonderful wines from Itata, as there are wonderful wines from Maule. But originally this was the secano interior, or the dry farmed interior. And that's why you see on bottles of Pais, it is not considered a fine wine grape to have Maule written on it. So it is written, the DO is the old DO system that says Secano Interior Cauquenes, or Secano Interior Coelemu in Itata, or other things like that. And it's some of the oldest vines. Someone said the other day that the wines were pre-industrial, and of course everyone thought what they meant was pre-industrial wine, and what the comment was it was pre-industry, as in pre-industrial revolution. The oldest Pais grapes in Chile go back to before, but the first document is 1548. 1548, I mean, I think one of King Henry's wives is still alive, but King Henry died the previous year. It's absolutely insane to think about that. Miguel Angel's still painting ceilings in the Vatican, although I think the Sistine Chapel was finished by then. But I mean, Renaissance, it's absolutely insane. And you think New World wine, you know. But today, Maule, I think, is best known for Carignan, as wines that how do you say, punch way above their weight, and that obviously for Sanson. I'll let someone else speak to Itata tomorrow. But I think it's interesting to forget the modern day politics. You know, we think of historically wine, we think of France and Italy, and you know, when did Italy become a country? Bordeaux, and it's not me to speak of it, but I mean, London had free trade with Bordeaux for a long time before Paris did, because France wasn't a country yet. And wine goes back that far, and I think it's interesting to put the same, how do you say, not microscope, spyglass, whatever you call it, same lens on Chile, because it is that old when we're speaking of Pais, and not, sorry, I lost the people behind me, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Too long?
That's good.
The last bit here. And the sheep are still here because it hasn't, they haven't begun to blossom. How do you say to bloom yet? These are, Luis did not finish everything he wanted to do. So these are, between you and I, we say mercenaries from San Javier, from further away. And it's good to see this, actually, Haitians who are trusted to prune. I remember when Haitians first came to... Alô? Bouchon? Between the plants, we're going to break up and toss it in as well. Hopefully it's going to rain some more, but in another month, when all of this is being fertilized, so even if you're already going to push in straight over side.
A new site, a new plot.
Yeah.
So at the same time, all the plants are going to compete for the space. But in this case, it's all basically colonized.
Yeah.
So a way that
2 years ahead. The same as when you have frost, it doesn't just affect that year. I remember the first time we had a French rock doctor come out here, and we dug some holes, and thought we were gonna get in holes and do what we always do. And what was really interesting is he took one look around here and up there and said, water doesn't get here in a year. The water to get from there down to here, it's taking more than a year. And suddenly the conversation, the whole visit went off on a different tangent because it was hydrology. It wasn't soil profile. See how quickly it starts to dry the surface.
Ya, pero esto lo voy a poner a los demás. Estamos más enredados.
clean it up a little bit.
What do we call it when it goes exponential? Thank you for that word. It's like instead of being linear, it goes exponential. Garnacha is super exponential. Tighter. Garnacha is like third day. It's a tool, but when you're making the things you want to do and you put a lot of years into it, it's kind of a homogenizer. Makes things. I don't see what it's kind of a weird flavor to have in your mouth, but that would be the Vigno, the Coca-Cola beer. You put toasted flour, like malted flour.
From Maule Valley. It was very special. It's in the central part of Chile. The pH is a little.
a long trip to learn about the variety, because the variety is very special. As you know, has a very low pH, big acidity, a lot of fruit, huge tannins. So you have to learn in the way to how to control the tannins. And
where do you make it? In Casablanca?
no, it's in Colchagua. In Colchagua is in Los Robles is the location that we move the grapes to that facility to make the
Source of the Carignan. The Carignan is fruit, it's acidity, it's tannins, but we try to show that is originally from us, from here, from Maule, but trying to make it a little bit more elegant. Some things that we use at the winery is a normal fermentation. We use oak tanks, open top tanks, and also a lot of this 500 liters barrels to make fermentation of reds. I don't know if you know it. The integral fermentation is the name. And also after that, we put out the wine and we make the aging only right now in full dress.
Esa es una foto
para
todos. Vigno para todos. Es una foto heteronormada, totalmente
Vamos por la Jamaica.
Vineyard. He speak English. No
a little, not so much. I can defend by myself in English. So, good evening. Welcome to Villa Avelina. Is the name of the farm.
Villa
Avelina.
Avelina.
Avelina was my grandma, the mother of my grandpa, and he buys this farm by the 1940s. So it's a farm in the middle of the town now. It has a lot of good things and a lot of bad things too. We always have we don't have problem to find people to work in the farm. But the bad things, so especially for the Pais vineyards that we have here. So the people of Cauquenes enjoy to eat the grape Pais, and they ate a lot of Pais, so it's a problem to us. With the other grapes, we don't have any problem with Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, and Tintorera. Those are the other grapes that we have in the down in Las Vegas. ¿Cómo se dirá Las Vegas? The lower parts of the farm.
So they only like to eat the Pais, or is it because they're closer?
Yeah, they only like
Tastes
to
good.
do it. I grew up here, playing with